Sorry for that. Thank you. Majina yangu naitwa Jeffrey Mwangi Mugo. Natoka Kasarani Sub-County, Roysambu Ward, Roysambu Constituency, ambapo watu wengi wakiulizwa wanaweza sema pengine wale watu wa kule hawahitaji nyumba za pesa ndogo ama affordable houses, kwa sababu zile estates zimetusingila pale ni kama Dhome, Garden Estate, Muthaiga North na kwingineko, ambapo wengi wenu ambao wabunge huko ndio nyumbani kwenu. But naposimama hapa bwana mwenyekiti, jambo la kwanza ningekupongeza kwa sababu umetoka kwa eneo yangu ya bunge Moro, lakini hapa Nairobi nimekuja kutafuta, nimetoka Maonalo. Kwa hivyo nimekupongeza kwa kazi njema ambayo umekuwa ukifanya taifa. Ya pili, washikadau wote ambao wako hapa, ningetaka kuchangia kuhusu huu mjadala. Jambo la kwanza, tangia uhuru tuupate, serikali zote ambazo zimepita ikianziwa na Senior Kenyatta hadi sasa yule ambaye ni Rais Ruto, hakuna serikali yoyote ambao haijawahi taja kuhusu affordable house. Lakini Wakenya tumeona kana kwamba ni uongo mtupu, kwa sababu Wakenya wengi wameona kana kwamba ni uongo mtupu, kwa sababu hakuna serikali yoyote ambayo imeshawahi kufanya kazi kwa sababu ya mwananchi wa kawaida kujengea nyumba. Wakati wa Moi alijaribu, nakumbuka nikiwa mgeni hapa Nairobi, nilikuwa nimeajiliwa na Mugoya, na zile nyumba walijenga zilifaidi mabonyenye. Vile vile wakati wa Mheshimiwa Moi Kibaki alijaribu, hata Uhuru amejaribu. Na mtu yoyote ambaye anaenda kotini kusema ya kwamba anaweza pinga hii, naweza sema sijui nitumie jina gani, lakini ni kama kuwanajisi wa Kenya, kwa sababu kilio cha Mkenya wowote ambaye ako slum ni kupata nyumba bora. Kwa mfano mimi pale ambapo nimetoka Kitogejidune, pale ambapo kunaitwa Roysambu, kuna Jua Kali slum, mimi ndio chairman, na kwa eka 3.5 imeshikilia zaidi ya watu 3,000 ambao wanajaa kwa kibanda, ambao kwa vitongoji ambao wamejenga kwa mabati. Na tunapoongea hivi ni kokotini tukikabiliana na mabwenyenye wenye walikuwa wamechukua title deed wakati wa Moi ili wamiliki kile kibanda cha ardhi. Swali langu mwenyekiti ni hili tu: wale ambao pengine hakuna ardhi na ardhi zao zimenyakuliwa na hawa mabwenyenye ambao tuko kotini nao, mtatumia njia gani ili mwananchi wa kawaida, mama fua mwenye huwa anakufulia nguo uko hapo kwetu, atafaidika namna gani? Na ni jambo la aibu kuona huyu mama anakuja na kufulia nguo wewe ukiwa mbunge, alafu baadaye anaingia kwa nyumba ya mabati, pahala ambapo drugs ndizo zinauzwa, pahala ambapo wizi ndio mwingi, na by the end of the day unakuta umepeleka mtoto wako Briban, hajui drugs, lakini huenda ikawa analetewa na yule ambao umemwajili kwa sababu ya shida, amekaa pale ambapo hapastahili. Jambo lingine ningetaka kuchangia bwana mwenyekiti. Tulipokuwa tunasoma tulikuwa tunaambiwa kwamba agriculture is backbone to our economy. Ukienda Kiambu siku ya leo utakuta kahawa imeng'olewa, na wote wanang'oa kahawa kwa sababu wanadhamini mambo ya manyumba, kwa sababu sasa ni kama uwegezaji wa manyumba ndio backbone. Kwa hivyo wanang'oa kahawa, wanapanda manyumba. Jambo langu ambalo la kusunisha ni kwamba by the end of the day hatutakuwa na commercial commodities ambazo zinatoka Kenya kama hatutaangalia mambo ya manyumba. Kwa hivyo ningetaka ikiwezekana huu mjadala uendelee au huu mradi uendelee, na ikiwezekana wale ambao area ambazo pengine watu wanajenga manyumba kwa sababu ya commercial, kwa sababu wanajenga ili watu waingie na watengeneze biashara, na mradi tu serikali itakapoingilia, Wakenya wataanza kutafuta mbinu zingine za kutafuta pesa kuliko kutumia wenzao kutafuta pesa kwa kupitia manyumba, na nyumba ni haki ya kila mwananchi kupata nyumba kupitia kwa serikali. Kwa hivyo ningetaka kwa moyo mkujufu kuomba Bwana Mwenyekiti, ikiwezekana nyumba sijengwe na utaratibu pengine wenye mtatumia uuzishe hata pahala ambapo hapana nyumba, hapana pahala ambapo pa kujengwa, kwa sababu pengine ardhi zimenyakuliwa na watu wengi. Jambo lingine la mwisho, kuna mwenzangu alisema hapa ya kwamba mtu akikosa kulipa pesa, alisema ni 20,000. Baada ya miezi 3 baada ya miezi 3 anapatiwa warning ama anafungiwa nyumba. Wale ambao tuna kasia macho ama wale ambao serikali inakasia macho kwa sababu wanasema ni hustler nation, ni mama mboga, mtu ambaye ana afford pengine shilingi 4,000, itakuwa ni haramu ama sio haki huyu mama ambaye ni mama mboga ama mtu wa kinyusi ama mtu ambaye anafua nguo akipatiwa ile nyumba iwe ni 20,000, alafu baadaye akose kulipa. Akikosa kulipa, wale mabonyenye bado watakuja na wanunue ile nyumba, na yule mama baadaye atarudi kwa slum. Na akirudi kwa slum, kama mlikuwa mna target kupigana na uhalifu kama usaji wa madawa ya kulevya na pombe haramu, yule mama atajikuta kule tu. Kwa hivyo ningeuliza mwenyekiti, ikiwezekana tutafute mbinu ambazo tutatumia ili yule mama ambaye ama yule kijana ambaye ako chini kabisa aweze kujimudu na pesa ambazo anaweza pata. Ni vijana wengi saizi, mimi ni chairman kule kwangu wa nyumba 10. Ukienda industry area ni vijana wengi sana ambao wako industry area kwa sababu ya kuuza madawa ya kulevya, na wanauza madawa ya kulevya ili wajimudu. Na ikiwa ataweza kupata nyumba ya pesa kidogo na apate kazi kule, huenda ikawa hata mafikira ya kuuza madawa ya kulevya yataisha, kwa sababu haja yake ni kupata lishe bora kwa watoto wake na familia yake. Asante sana, na pengine kwa sababu nilikuwa nimeandika kwa simu yangu, kama kuna submission ambayo inapatiwa naweza patiwa email, nitasubmit kwa sababu nimeandika kwa Kiingereza. Asante sana.
Asante sana kwa maoni yako. Mimi niulize, ulisema ni Kasarani area gani?
Rosambo. Within Bome.
So how much is average rent for hapo? So nauliza ndio kuna zile kiwango ambazo ziko recommended ya kwamba ile house inaitwa affordable. What we're trying to find out is, when you call it an affordable house, how much should be paid on that affordable house?
Yule mwananchi kabisa wa chini huwa analipa 4,000, na kwetu yule wa juu kabisa huwa analipa 18,000.
Asante. Ningetaka kujua tu maoni yako kulingana na hii deposit ya 10%. Kama hiyo nyumba affordable inauzwa 840, unastahili kulipa 84,000. Hiyo
hapo ndipo nimesema mwenyekiti, ndio nimeomba mwenyekiti wafanye utafiti kwa dharura ili mama mboga asijiingize kwa kununua nyumba alafu baadaye ajikute hana nyumba na amerudi kwa slum. But if at all vile serikali ilikuwa imepanga kuhusu mambo ya hustler, vile walikuwa wamepanga kuhusu biashara, kama wataendelea na mipangilio yao na wale mama mboga wapate saving, sioni kana kwamba kuna mtu anaweza lalamika. Na jambo la pili, wale watu ambao wanapiga kelele sana ni wale watu civil servant. Kama serikali inaweza tengeneza mikakati iguse yule mtu wa chini kabisa, chini ya kabisa hakuna watu wanapiga kelele. Hakuna mtu hawezi taka ku own house, but swali ni kwamba ile pesa mtadai, kwa sababu sisi ni Wakenya, we are here tutaishi hapa na tutakufia hapa Kenya. Tutafutieni ile njia ambayo tutatoa pesa hata kama ni miaka 20 ama miaka 30, na hatutanyang'anya serikali, na vile vile mradi utaendelea.
Nafikiri umeulizwa na mheshimiwa the deposit ile ya 10%, kwa maoni yako unaona isimame hapo? Kuna wengine wamesema ipunguzwe.
Maoni yangu ningetaka kusema ipunguzwe kidogo, ndio mama mboga apate.
Tuelewe ya kwamba pia ukipunguza the initial deposit ile ya mwezi itaongezeka. Because sasa ile the outstanding amount itakuwa more. So just
but ningetaka kukuuliza vile tu umesema, ikiwa ikipunguzwa na iende miaka mingi, ikienda miaka mingi sitanyang'anywa nyumba na nitaweza kufaulu kulipa. Ikikosa kupunguzwa nitaingia na nitanyang'anywa nyumba na yule bwenyenye atakuja ainunue. Kwa hivyo upande wangu afadhali upunguze, nilipe kwa wakati mrefu na ni afford kununua ile nyumba kwa sababu ya watoto wangu.
Asante sana mzee wa kwetu kule Maonaro.
Yes.
Nitasalamia watu wa Maonaro, nitasema wako na mguiji wao wanawakilisha Nairobi.
Thank you.
Residents Association. Baada ya hapo tuende kwa architect. Na Mheshimiwa Sonia Bridge kutoka Rafta Road. Karibu jitambulize, unawakilisha shirika gani, alafu tupe maoni yako.
Okay, thank you so much. All protocols observed. I'm Jackson Lee Muture Kimani. I was here on behalf of the Resident Association, but specifically California State Residents Association. My colleagues have just left.
California
New Pumwani, no. It's New Pumwani Estate. California is just a nickname. Okay, thank you. Okay. So in my presentation, I'll focus on two issues in the clause of the Affordable Bill. That is the Affordable Housing Board Constitution and the imposition of housing levy. And on the Affordable Housing Board, how it's supposed to be constituted, we would pray and would request that even if it is on an ad hoc basis, let there be a presentation of the resident associations within any counties. Because if you are to look into this affordable housing structure in the project that it's supposed to be rolled out, they are focusing more on first phase being the old county estates, and that is whereby we have large tract of lands within Nairobi County before rolling out to other lands. So we request for the inclusion of the resident associations. Now, when it comes to the imposition of the housing levy, we would like to have it in a phased, structured manner. In the following sense, we have it as a social, whereby you are going to target all government salaried employees. And if you can recall, initially, these affordable housing projects were targeting the government salaried employees, because at the time, that was in the 80s, the government, there were not adequate housing at the time, and in order for government to provide housing for their employees, they did do this housing, but under a social aspect, not under affordable aspect. Under social aspect, it's much cheaper because we are focusing on the disposable income of the target group or the target persons. And then secondly, try and look into how you can remove this affordable housing project from the informal settlement, whereby you are going to leave the informal settlement under the Kenya Informal Settlement Improvement Project. Because you see now with the affordable housing, we are focusing on densification. Now, when it comes to densification, if you look at the capital cost, it's enormous. But if you look at KCIP, whereby you are just targeting informal settlement, because I'm sure that's where the crunch of this whole affordable housing issue is all about, you're focusing on improving the livelihood of that person. So you're going to focus the livelihood of that person in regards to the income. Because on affordable housing, you're using an index which will knock out most of these informal settlement persons, whereby it's targeted and it is very specific when it comes to the structure of how you're going to rent to own or TPS or mortgage or anything. It's very specific. It's not focused on the income of the person whom we are targeting. So, and this other part is just an amendment, because the word affordable has been misconstrued in this aspect of the affordable housing bill. Try and see if you can have this word affordable removed and replace it with a low-cost housing, such that you can go below that threshold of Kenya Bureau of Standards, whereby we have this what you call or what you are going to define as affordable housing. Because I can give an example so that you understand why I'm saying this affordable is not commensurate with what is the thinking of the target population. Look at this program that has been instituted by the Nairobi City County Government, which is Dishina County. Dishina County is in all respect and all aspects very affordable. Why? Because it is heavily subsidized, and any person of any sector of this economy can afford the Dishina County. But if you are to use the same example in this affordable housing is for a specific target group. And that's why you have this skepticism, and that is why you have in this objection and resistance. Now, we had these other projects and programs, like New Plan, Nairobi Integrated Urban Development Project. You had Railway Cities Project. You had NAMSIP, that is the Nairobi Metropolitan Improvement Services Project. So what you're asking is, what happened to this program such that they had to be either done away with or forgotten, and then you came up with the affordable housing program. And under NAMSIP, you have this. We had this project which was Nairobi Urban Improvement Project, and there was a key aspect of that NURP project which was very enticing to the entire population, and it is as thus. The goal is to not only create adequate housing, but also housing that is affordable and fits the needs of the target group, that is the low-income residents. It may be to restructure this affordable housing vis-a-vis this NURP, maybe all these objections and rejections and what you have, maybe are going to clear the mind of such people. And then we ask ourselves, the issue is that aspect of the housing levy. Now, why can't the government issue an infrastructure bond vis-a-vis imposing a blanket levy? There's nothing wrong with having a levy, but if you can have it phased, such that you're going to start with the civil servants, and maybe later on you have it in a voluntary manner to these other sectors. Because these other sectors, they don't have guarantee of tenure in office, and they don't have a guarantee of income. As you have seen, we are just recovering, because I can't say we are fully recovered. We're just recovering from the vagrancies of the COVID-19. Thank you so much, and thank you for indulgence.
Thank you very, very much for your views. We hear you. And I think earlier on we had directed, on Wednesday we have a meeting with the State Department of Housing. There was also concern there that there might create an overlap for all these funds or programs trying to do the same thing. But I think the reason why they have also been as successful is because they lacked a legislative framework. And this is what we're now trying to create, so that there is a law that guides what an affordable housing is, how it's funded, and who is allocated to it, and how the program is funded. And thank you very, very much for your good remark in regards to the people of California.
Yes.
A quick question from this end.
Sorry. Now you mentioned that the board that is being created, you need to include the residents association. I do not know whether we have just a national residents association, or how will we then pick one and leave the others? So do we have a national residents association where, for example, normally when you say, we are saying Architects Association of Kenya, it's one. We know it's one. If we go to East Park, it's one. Now, do we have a national residents association? And then number two, there's a comment you made about the fact that we need to distinguish between no slum upgrading and affordable housing, which I agree with you. And actually, the law as crafted now provides the money will be sent into three sectors. One of them is the affordable housing. The other one is the slum upgrading program. So I think what you are saying is what the law is actually providing for, as it is now.
Maybe by say, are you a member of any residents association?
I think he seems to be a professional, does it?
Okay. To answer your first question, we in Nairobi County, let me just be very specific. In Nairobi County, we have KARA, which is Kenya Alliance of Resident Association. It's an umbrella body whereby all resident association, right now it's something that is ongoing. Yeah? They're trying to affiliate so that we can channel all our issues and views and concerns through the KARA, because I think that would be the best way to handle a residents association. Okay, I may not speak about the other counties because I'm not so sure about them. But okay, on the other aspect that you have spoken of, whereby they're going to differentiate the categories, I think that is information that has not reached the residents clearly. Because you see, they're assuming this densification of affordable housing projects is blanket, be it slums, be it county government houses, be it any government land. Because I'm sure where you have most of the resistance is the informal settlements. So I think it's best if you make it very clear. And also the other aspect is at least you clarify on the issue of relocation and how these relocated persons are going to benefit. Because now the key problem is you're removing somebody from an informal settlement whereby the rates and the rents, are hugely low. And then you're telling that person that in order to come back, there are certain conditions to be met. So I think that is something that you have to sit down and legislate and be very clear, because that's where most of the resistance is coming from. Yeah, so maybe you can just, you see this issue of confidence and at least remove the doubts and the skepticism to this project, especially in the informal settlements. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really hear your views. Thank you. May I take your leave now? The Architects Association of Kenya.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Chairman. I wish to introduce my team and myself. My name is Florence Nyoli. I'm an architect and the president of the association. I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves, then we can make our submission.
Thank you, Chair. My name is George AJAABU. I'm an architect and the vice president of the association.
Good afternoon. My name is Irina Gutu. I am the chair of the Interior Designers Chapter of the Architectural Association of Kenya.
Good afternoon. My name is Wycliffe Waburiri. I'm the chairperson of the Architects Chapter in AAK. Thank you.
Of the what chapter?
The Architects Chapter. The association has 8 chapters. I only represent the architects. Thank you.
So the 8 are architects, interior design?
We have 8 chapters. Architects, interior designers, planners, engineers, landscape architects, construction managers, environmental design consultants, and quantitative areas. So we are an umbrella body.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Ngaruya, an urban planner by profession and an advocacy officer at the UK.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacob Wangi. I'm the Chief Executive of the Association.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacqueline Cairo, Vice Chair Architects Chapter in AAK.
Good afternoon. My name is Engineer Jackton Mwembe, the Secretary Engineers Chapter.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Ouma. I work in the Research and Advocacy Department within AAK.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Joseph Kedogo. I represent the academia in AAK. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Maindo from the CPM chapter, Construction Managers chapter, AAK.
Fine. Then take us through the presentation. I have a quick question before I forget. Did you eventually resolve the issue of certification of degrees from Kenyatta University to the certification of planners?
You mean the planners? Did they have an issue? No, I think it was the engineering fraternity who had an issue with the EBK, the Engineers Board of Kenya. And that was resolved.
I'm certain one of my classmates did urban planning and environmental science from KU. And last time we had a discussion, so he's not able to practice because his degree certificate is not recognized or something. You know, just off the cuff. May proceed with you. But that's something of interest to your association. Proceed.
Okay, I think that is not resolved yet because probably the curriculum does not meet the threshold of courses for accreditation for planners. I think the recognized universities are University of Nairobi, Maseno, now Technical University of Nairobi, and the University of Kenya. But that will take it up with the PPRB, the Physical Planners Registration Board. So as you've heard, we are an umbrella organization, the Architectural Association of Kenya, started in 1967, and at the moment we encompass 8 professions, 4 of which are recognized by law. That's architects, quantity surveyors, planners, and engineers, and the others we are working hard, make sure that they're recognized by law. Please receive warm greetings from our association. AK would like to commend the government of Kenya for its dedication to addressing the critical issue of housing deficit in the country, and we appreciate the efforts undertaken in formulating this legislation. The association fully supports the affordable housing program as a key driver to improving our urban environment, creating numerous jobs, inspiring the country's economy. After carefully reviewing the bill, we wish to share our feedback and recommendations, and we'll be submitting a hard copy of this later on, that we believe will enhance the effectiveness and comprehensiveness of the statute. Accordingly, we note that, number 1, the Affordable Housing Bill is an entirely new bill that comes as a separate bill outside the existing Housing Act, Cap 117, which is already an act of parliament to provide for loans and grants of public money for the construction of dwellings, to establish the National Housing Development Fund and a housing board for these purposes and for connected purposes. Our view, therefore, is that the bill would have been best anchored as a regulation under the Housing Act that allows the government to establish the fund and the board to manage the fund. This also ensures the constitutionality of the fund, anchored in an already existing law, and will be easier to review in time. Number 2 is the definition of affordable housing, which falls short of encompassing the holistic functionality of a dwelling. This definition should be expanded to include essential elements such as integrated and inclusive infrastructure, and we've had organizations ahead of us mentioning the same, and services explicitly. The affordable housing should not only be financially accessible, but also inherently equipped to the necessary infrastructure and services to ensure its functionality and livability. Number 3 is that the bill further fails to incorporate urban planning and regeneration as essential to developing sustainable communities and neighborhoods. Given the predominantly residential character of our urban areas, the omission of planning provisions for the seamless integration of additional housing schemes into the existing urban fabric is a notable gap. Integrating urban planning and regeneration into the affordable housing bill is crucial for practical reasons and as a strategic imperative to create cohesive and well-designed neighborhoods that prioritize accessibility, high quality of life, and community resilience. Number 4 is recommend the bill's distribution of the funds among the National Housing Corporation, slum upgrading services, the State Department, the Levy collector, and the board. However, we propose incorporating a dedicated fund for allocation to research as well. to fortify the statute's impact. There's a significant information gap in the realm of affordable housing, and I think you've noted this because it's yet to gain traction at the end of the day, as well as local building materials, and explicitly earmarking resources for research initiatives will significantly help in addressing this gap. Collaborative efforts with academic institutions and professional bodies such as ourselves will enhance the quality of research outcomes and stimulate the development of innovative solutions crucial for success and sustainability of affordable housing projects in Kenya, not only today, but even in the future. Number 5, the qualification criteria for members for the Affordable Housing Board, which states that qualification in either built environment, finance, or law appears to be overly broad and lacks specificity. Recognizing the distinctive roles of professionals within the built environment, it's imperative to acknowledge the specialized expertise required for successful implementation, especially in affordable housing projects. As AAK, and we've mentioned this as we started, encompasses 8 professions, and architects serve as lead consultants in housing matters, we propose a refined approach to this constitution of the board. We are well positioned to nominate qualified built environment professionals to the board. Similarly, ISPAC and LSK can nominate the finance and law counterparts respectively. This should be explicitly indicated in the Act in a similar manner that we've seen COTU and FKE have been spelled out as nominating bodies to the board. Lastly, the bill was tabled in the National Parliament for its first reading without going through public participation. However, we've written this letter to you much earlier on, and we are quite happy and impressed that we have now had gone through the public participation, and we hope that will continue to give us our voice and support to the bill so that you can gain confidence. The public can gain confidence in the bill. As I conclude, and in addition to the above, please find attached a summary detailing the concerns and viewpoints raised by our members regarding the proposed bill. We've also appended 2 documents which I think will be useful for you. The International Union of Architects Social Habitat Work Program Manifesto, which is quite comprehensive in defining what is a social habitat. If we are going to deal with social housing, I think it's important that we also understand what that means. Then at AK, we've also developed what we call the Healthy Homes Guidelines and Checklist document, which can be used to define some of the lucky definitions in the Act. This provides a framework for achieving healthy and safe housing. We are confident that this constructive feedback will enhance the effectiveness and impact of the Affordable Housing Bill 2023. Our association is ready to support the government in defining the bill and implementing the program to facilitate accessible quality housing for all Kenyans. I will just quickly highlight some of the areas that we have earmarked in the bill. One is in part 1, preliminary affordable housing and the definition of affordable housing. And in this case, I don't want to read through all of it because we're submitting a hard copy, but maybe I'll just quickly highlight that talks about someone means that this is adequate and costs not more than 30% of the income of a person per month to rent or acquire. So in this case, renting or buying is considered but contradicted in subsequent articles where you only talk about acquisition. And the provision of only rent unit for such groups could be used to qualify social housing. This should be considered. Then an affordable housing scheme, the definition therein, this definition falls short of integrating and including urban planning and regeneration, as we have mentioned earlier on. Again, the definition of a housing unit, a social housing unit has been defined using a plinth area. And generally, the use of areas to define the units is not based on the function of housing and the need of the users, and it appears to be informed only by market costs. Social housing has been defined by very many countries, and including even the Kenya Constitution that talks about the Bill of Rights, that every person has the right to accessible and adequate housing and to reasonable standards of sanitation. So the definition by area only cannot be considered as adequate housing as envisioned, especially when the average size of a Kenyan household is considered to be 4 to 5 persons. Then we have descriptions and differentiation of affordable housing unit, affordable market housing unit. The naming and definitions are not clear and can be easily confused with one another. The categorization of incomes is not well informed, going by even the government's income statistics. With the minimum monthly wage set at slightly over 15,000 shillings, and I think someone has defined it about 16,000 shillings, considered for social housing. This could be families and not just individuals. Most Kenyans, 72%, earn between 15 to 50,000 shillings a month. But when you define this on this other side, that you talk about income over 149,000 shillings, starts to reduce the number of people who will be getting this or accessing this housing, and therefore this should be considered for mortgage. Number 5, imposition of the housing affordable housing levy, the amount equivalent to 1.5% of gross salary to be deducted from employees. There's need to rethink the structure of this levy to get more Kenyans to contribute to the fund beyond those formerly employed. This could be through an excise duty or a similar type of taxation, which will produce a lighter burden per person. So that if you're distributing the collection to more people, you get more, but not everybody gets to feel the pinch. We also wish to state that the bill should also broaden other areas of acquiring funds for affordable housing, like PPPs, bonds, and so on and so forth. Considering that you're going to sell this again to the mwananchi, and it's not something like roads where it's a public good and doesn't get paid. You don't get paid back as government for it. Number 6 is establishment of the board. It explicitly states the organizations that are to nominate the members to the board, and we want to wish that a stronger presence of the built environment professions on the board be looked upon at the end of the day. One thing we want to just add there is that we wish that you create even the office of the vice chairperson to the board, who shall be of the opposite gender, of course, in light of gender mainstreaming. Item number 7 is establishment and management of the fund itself. Even as you continue to look into this, we hope that you seriously consider to have architects, engineers, project managers, and so on and so forth to guide the board. At the end of the day, this is a housing matter. Then the eligibility criteria and application procedure for affordable housing unit. These details are there in the bill at the moment, but I think it's more appropriate that this come as a regulation to the act as opposed to being mainstream in the main act of parliament. Why? Because this is easier to change and can be done so as and when the need arises. Chairman, I do submit the presentation from AOK. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the contribution. Maybe a quick question. We earlier on listened to the Architectural Alliance of Kenya and all the Architects Association of Kenya. They are all AOK. Now, have you considered having one voice for architects rather than having two bodies that represent similar interests?
Chairman, the Architects Alliance of Kenya is a very new body, extremely new, I think less than 6 months old.
Which one? This one or the other?
The other one. AOK is 56 years old. So who should join the other? Yeah?
We should have dialogue.
We've tried to. I think it's just a matter outside the discussion that we're having today. I think, but they are all members of the Architectural Association of Kenya because we are recognized by law.
You are coming with an act of parliament?
Yes, the Architects and Pension Surveyors Act, Cap 525.
Interesting. Because there is very valid point in which you are as well. So the Law Society of Kenya has over time found themselves being represented in so many institutions. And a member of ISPAC runs the same, and we probably build ourselves in those institutions. And I think so should your institution. Anything related to building, you should be involved. But having two bodies doesn't make it any easier because, for accountants, you just it's ISPAC, it's Express. For engineering board, it's Engineering Board of Kenya. For law, it's Law Society of Kenya. So I think beyond this discussion, I think it's important to see how you can have one voice for architects. But then that's I really like most of your contributions. However, if you could help a little further, you're saying this definition is wanting on this and this. If you could instead tell us that we should instead phrase it as what is an affordable house, because you're the ones that have the language that says what does affordable house mean. So those areas that you feel should be corrected to first. So say we propose that this be amended to read ABC. so that we also look into that and see, because essentially we'll receive several definitions and then we have to make a decision which one best suits what the bill envisioned to cure. So when you have given us exactly what's to be done, that becomes a better way of engagement. I don't know this year.
Yeah, maybe I want to support them in terms of the representation in the board, because we are dealing with building, housing, infrastructure, and so forth. So I think if the draft as it is does not include their nominee, then I think we will support an amendment where they can be given an opportunity to nominate a person to sit on the board. Now, on the issue of, I heard you saying some of the things should be put in the regulations because of it is easy to amend. I think Parliament is a full-time institution. We always rise to the occasion if there is need to be. But of course, we'll consider your proposals.
All right. Thank you very much. That will be all from us. You can make your concluding remarks.
Thank you, Chairman. I think we'll consider. We will share with you, clause by clause definitions as you requested. I wish to maybe make a physical submission to you, if you do not mind. Thank you for your time as well, and we wish you the best in this exercise.
Thank you.